Hi, and welcome to the fourth Anatomy Tuesday. So last week I talked about the diaphragm muscle, and today I'm just going a little bit below that and talking to you about the psoas. So the psoas is really one of the most interesting and fascinating muscles in our body. There's actually appears to be two of them because they do form these columns of support in your torso. It starts on your spine, depending on it's different for everybody, but it can start around T12 or L1, so that's the bottom of your thoracic spine or the top of your lumbar, mid-low back area. It goes down through your body like two columns of support, wraps around the hips, and then inserts on the inner thigh. So let me scoot back for a second. So it inserts on your inner thigh, right? So it forms the connection between our trunk and our legs. So this is the muscle that really helps us be biped, be walking on 2 feet rather than on 4 legs, right? So it's the one that extends our body from a crouched position into a standing and walking position. So it's super important. It's also really interesting because the muscle fibers run in a lot of different directions. So it helps and is somewhat responsible for a lot of different movements that include flexion, extension, side bend, and rotation of the spine. Flexing at the hip, meaning lifting the leg up and down off the ground, or flexing at the hip going forward, right? And it also provides that secure, stable support when we're in a standing position because it connects our trunk to our legs like that. Now, it can get really tight. It can be tight on one side, or it can be tight on both sides, and then it can become weak on the other side, or it can be out of harmony or dysfunctional on both sides of your body. And when that happens, it can cause a slew of things to happen in your body. So it can cause back pain, it can cause hip tightness, it can cause digestive issues. So it's actually really important to maintain proper function, stability, and mobility within the psoas muscle. Now, one of the main reasons that I talk about the psoas a lot is because it is your fight or flight muscle. So what does that mean? It means it is the #1 muscle that gets involved during your body's fight or flight response. Why is that? Because back a long time ago when we were in hunting gathering days, this is the muscle that changed your position abruptly. So if you were crouched down hunting, if you were crouched down gathering and you had to jump up and run because some predator was coming after you, or you had to chase after prey, this is the muscle that does that, right? So it's a very kind of evolutionary thing that caused this muscle to develop the way that it did. But as a result of that, the fight or flight response physically gets trapped inside that muscle. So if you are somebody that suffers from anxiety, or you've had ever any moments of your life where you've had sort of like a traumatic experience, or especially if it's a physical one, then you might also experience some tightness or dysfunction in the psoas because of it. So it's a great idea to check that out. And of course, I love the psoas. I talk about it all the time. I do tons of exercises and stretches to help it out. So you can always reach out to me with that. So there you have it. The psoas muscle is your next anatomy lesson.